Now, let's talk about the migrants and go straight over to the research fellow at the Bow Group, Benjamin Loughnane. Morning, Ben.
Morning.
Another 150 migrants, including a baby, were picked up yesterday at Dover after being rescued from a dinghy. They keep on coming across. Last week, the week before last, there were 1,000 of them came over, 460 on the Saturday, and then last Monday, 700, which is the record number for this year. So we have to keep asking the question, what the hell is anyone going to do about this? This crisis is now critical. We have this strange interregnum where we have no government. The Foreign Secretary's busy tearing chunks out of the former Chancellor of the Exchequer as she bids to become the Prime Minister. The Home Secretary, Priti Patel, we presume is treading water, if I can put it like that, until she gets the boot on September the 5th. No one is doing anything, and yet this situation is seriously getting worse almost by the hour. What's going on, Ben?
To be honest, I don't think anyone ever intended to do anything. In 2019, the government signed a contract with Serco for 10 years to provide services such as housing, clothing and food to these migrants coming over. But they signed a 10-year contract. Why would you sign a 10-year contract if you intended to solve the issue before 10 years? And that contract, by the way, was worth about 1.9 billion. So they spent 2 billion worth of taxpayers' money on this crisis to a private company out of public money for a 10-year contract, and then they turn around and tell us that they're going to get a handle on it. Well, then why are you spending all our money on this decade-long project to bring people in?
So I was on talkTV's The Talk last night, hearing in my ear from all my fellow panellists, we've got to get together with the French, we've got to negotiate and work out a solution, a way to deal with this. Going down that route is a cul-de-sac. It's a waste of time. The French are never going to do anything to help us. They can't wait to get rid of these migrants. I mean, we saw yesterday, a couple of days ago, a very rare incident where we saw some French cops puncturing a dinghy and smashing up the motor on the beach, but that kind of incident is very few and far between. They're not doing anything to stop them, so we have to come up with a solution, don't we? And it's not Rwanda, because as long as we are subjected to the views of the European Court of Human Rights, we will never get a plane off the ground. We need to start turning them around, don't we? Instead of meeting them mid-channel and ferrying them into Dover, can't we turn them round and take them back to Calais?
Well, I mean, look, we've been running a taxi service for them. We go out, we pick them up, we put them on a big boat and we bring them in. The idea that we were doing anything at all to try and prevent this is farcical. We're facilitating it. In fact, probably one of the reasons the French are so willing to allow people to cross over and come to Britain is because they know that we're going to pick them up. They know that we're going to look after them. They know that we're not going to send any of them back. So why would they even bother trying to stop people leaving?
And we now know, we can absolutely officially nail the lie that these poor, desperate people are fleeing to our beaches because they're escaping war and torture in their own countries. Because we learnt at the weekend, thanks to Richard Tice, my fellow talkTV presenter and leader of the Reform UK party, he was leaked information from a whistleblower that 4 in every 10 of these people coming across the channel in dinghies are from Albania. Albania does not have war. It does not have torture. They make their way to France, another country that does not have war and does not have torture. When they get here, they apply for political asylum. Why are we even considering their applications?
Well, it's absolutely outrageous. Albania, as we mentioned on the show the other day, the Albanian mafia in Britain effectively have monopolised things like sex trafficking and drug trafficking. So it makes a lot of sense that they'd want to bring a load of people over to continue to grow that empire that they've got. in the black market and in organised crime. And so if we know that these people who are Albanians are coming over, and we know that we've got a huge problem with organised crime in the Albanian mafia, then we're allowing crime to thrive and grow in this country. We're facilitating it, and we're taxing these people in. We're not even trying to get rid of them. So it is disgusting. And the polemic around these people being refugees, fleeing war and torture, I mean, hopefully now that it's come out that 4 in 10 of them are Albanians, people will stop saying that. But I'm not very hopeful, because let's face it, a lot of these people are dishonest, and deliberately so.
Yeah, and last count, one statistic I saw, 84% of them are young males between the age of 18 and 34. In other words, they're economic migrants. Look, I don't blame people for trying to improve their circumstances, but these people are trying to break into our country. The Crown Prosecution Service seems to say that's not illegal. I would contend it is, actually, but this has to be stopped. So can Priti Patel hang on to her job as Home Secretary? The Home Secretary has achieved the square root of damn all on this crisis throughout her tenure. Can she hang on to her job after September the 5th?
It really depends. I think, anyone who gets that job, it's a poison chalice, because, there's no support really from the government or from the civil service, or, there's really no resources and there's no money. And we're too scared to do anything as a country, and the press will hammer you if you try to have any kind of solution to this. So it's a difficult job. It would take someone quite tough to come in and actually shake things up and fix this. But I think it really needs to come from the top. I don't think it's a job for the Home Secretary to deal with. I think it's a job for the Prime Minister and the Foreign Secretary, because the Foreign Secretary needs to deal with the diplomacy of the issue with the French, and the Prime Minister really needs to be spearheading this from the top. Saying it's the job of the Home Secretary, I think, is, reduces it down to something which is it would imply it's a smaller issue than it is. I think this is a major issue for the country, both in a domestic and in a foreign policy sense. And so we need to stop thinking about it in terms of who's the next Home Secretary. We need to think about it in terms of whoever the next Prime Minister is. This needs to be at the top of the docket. This needs to be the number one issue, the first thing they deal with.
Yeah, and the Prime Minister might like to note that if they don't get a handle on this, if they don't get a grip, and these migrants keep coming over, they will lose the next election because of it. Ben, good to talk to you. That's Benjamin Loughnane, Research Fellow at the Bow Group.